Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me Sumit as we discuss the upcoming trip of Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, to Ukraine. What to expect, who are the players, what are each one's expectations, all this and more. And before that, please like this video and share it amongst your friends on various WhatsApp, social media, other groups such as Meta, wherever you are. So thank you so much. And now let's welcome Sumit ji. Sumit ji, namaskar, Radhe Radhe, Jai Sri Ram. How are you, sir?
Jai Sri Ram, Radhe Radhe, all fine and good by the kripa of Lord Mahakal and your Ashirwad, sir. Namaskaram to all our brothers and brothers and sisters, how are you? Namaskar to all of you. Right, sir.
Sumit ji, this is a very busy talk because there are many stakeholders on this. And I yield the floor to you. Please walk us through what are the different people looking for, which country wants what out of this, because there are a lot of expectations building up on this one.
Sure. Sir, in the name of Bhagwan Sree Ganesha, let's do the Sree Ganesha of today's vlog. Look, when we talk of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Ukraine, which is almost done now, we know it's going to happen next month, but we are already on 27. Next month is 3 days away. So it's not a lot of time. So technically it's next month. Practically it can be next week also, talking on a realistic level. Now, this is the most talked about geopolitical event today, because this is the most high-profile visit. This is the only visit, Sri sir, where the whole world will be looking to it. Everybody will be looking at this visit. You may be a stakeholder, you may not be a stakeholder, but you will look through this visit. It is going to be the talk of the town. All the media companies of the world will have one agenda today. What is Prime Minister Modi doing in Ukraine and why is he going? Now, if we talk of the major stakeholders, I think we are talking of Ukraine, we are talking of Russia, we are talking of the United States of America, we are talking of the European Union, we are talking of China, we are talking of Iran, we are talking of Pakistan. These are the main players and let's not forget Israel, of course. These are the main players who will be watching it very, very carefully, because somewhere down the line, their stakes are in the game. And there is one more player, ninth player, which is not a country, but which is the predominant player. Now, you will ask me a question, bhai, who is that predominant player and which is not a country, which is bigger than America or Russia or India or China? Who is that country? That is economy, because a lot of economic developments will be dependent on this visit. I'll explain that. So we have good 40 minutes and I will request everybody to stay till then, because best for the last, that's what I do. And we are going to go through all of them. Now, when we look at Prime Minister Modi's visit to Ukraine, first of all, it is a high profile visit. First submission here will be India does not have a very high, very high pitch or a very high orientation relation with Ukraine. We maintain a very lukewarm kind of a relation. We don't have a lot of trade. And in fact, we have seen some ups and downs, and we have seen some statements from Zelensky, which said, oh, you're sitting next. That the Prime Minister of the world's largest democracy is meeting a bloody XYZ when he referred to Putin. I don't want to repeat those things. But so the relations have been up and down. What is our common thing with Ukraine? We have been sending students there. Again, that industry is down because, we had a lot of medical students who were stuck there. I'll tell you one thing which we did in the past, and we had to really, pay from our nose. She said there was a time you would have seen a lot of MiGs crashing. And when Air Force looked into it, because we were getting a lot of parts from, all the parts were coming from Russia. Then we are told, the grapevine has it, that Ukrainians offered us the part, saying this was all manufactured here, you can buy the spares from us. And they were giving us some better pricing and dealing and all. So India for some time tried that thing, but we had to really bite our hands then. We were facing absolute fiasco. So it didn't leave us a good taste in mind when it comes to Ukrainian relations. India and, it's a on and off kind of a thing. We are not friends, we are not enemies, we are chalta hai kind of a thing. So we don't have great trade, we don't have relations. And Prime Minister Modi is always of the opinion that this cannot be settled on the battleground. This has to be settled on the table, and it's the era of peace, not war. And Prime Minister Modi met Putin. He told him the same on his face, in his national TV, and told him it cannot be settled on battleground. We have to talk. And he also mentioned that there was an incident where unfortunately some kids lost their life, and there was a Russian attack on a hostel in Ukraine. I think that Modiji has only that courage and that aura to say that to Putin. I don't think anybody else in the world can dare that. Definitely not Joe Biden. So when these things happened and Putin listened, And Prime Minister Modi even said when he went to 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙀, his private bungalow or the farmhouse, he said we had a very good, exchange of ideas and it was all good. Now, Ukraine somehow want to move out of this. Ukraine wants to move out of this war because even Ukraine realizes that with all the support of Americans and the allies, they are not winning. And a lot of people don't know this, Sree sir. When you look at Ukraine, there is the part of Ukraine which is under temporary occupation of Russia. Then after that, there is the Russian side. A lot of people don't know whatever the weapons Americans or allies are giving, these weapons can be only used in that buffer zone. They cannot be used on mainland Russian territory because that will be a war with Russia. So with those things happening, it has become a bit tricky for Russia for Ukraine, because any what Ukraine is doing, at best you can hold your ground. There is no way you can use these weapons and attack mainland Russia, because that Americans and the allies won't allow you to do. So Zelensky is in a fix. And it is also true, America is looking for alternates and options. If Zelensky doesn't work, what will happen to him? Zelensky is worried, if I don't work, my utility, and sorry to say, my life is of no use to anybody. And unfortunately, when people like this Proznan, what was that bald guy, Proznan or whatever, Prognan guy, and when Mr. Raisi told, I'm going to get the bomb from Pakistan, what happened in 2 weeks? What happened to the foreign minister? So these people realize that lifeline suddenly shortens if you are not a player in this whole thing. So even Ukraine somewhat wants a amicable but a peaceful and acceptable solution out of the war. Now, is Prime Minister Modi going to talk about that? That's a possibility. Another school of thought says the big grapevine or the Western media is saying, look, it is the American pressure, it is the pressure of the West. That is why Modiji is going to Ukraine, because Americans are very unhappy. They told him, okay, Mr. Modi, you have to balance. So you went to Russia, now you go to Ukraine also. So it's a balancing act. That is what the West has to say. Now, what is the internal story? The internal story is as follows. There was an attempt made on President Donald Trump's life. He survived the attack somehow. Though practically, if it was not God's grace, he would be dead by this time. Now, remember, Trump had told that if I come to power, which is few months down the line, I will stop this war in few days. A lot of people in America, a lot of Western interested groups, including the deep state, doesn't want this war to stop due to reasons we all know. Now, when Trump said this, suddenly, just before Modiji's visit to Russia, Putin said, what is the deal? I don't know the deal. So is it possible that the deal Prime Minister Modi conveyed to Putin, look, this is what is possible. Now, before going there, in Italy, Prime Minister Modi has met Zelensky also. Now, possibly Putin told something to Modiji, bhai, this is possible, this is not possible, we can do this. It is quite a possibility, I don't know, and no way I can know, and anybody can know, we can all guess. There is a possibility that Prime Minister Modi is carrying the message of Putin, and a leverage what is the leverage Putin has given him and he's giving this message directly to Zelensky, because Modiji understands if this can happen directly between the two. If we get Americans involved, if we get NATO involved, if we get Europeans involved, everybody has his own interest, and interest groups will not let this war to be over. Now, if this happens, again, this will be a victory for Putin, because Putin is very clear, I will not leave the land which I have captured. So will he leave half the land? Will he do something? But again, Crimea and all is with him, and a sizable amount of Ukraine he has already captured. Because Putin knows if tomorrow Zelensky is not in picture or not in picture, I have to build this land, which is a billions and billions of dollars of expense. Now, incidentally, with all this fiasco going on with 5001 sanctions, I'm just giving a kind of an abbreviation, 5001 sanctions on Ukraine, sir. Russia has again become a high income group country. In all this fiasco, Russia is again a high income group country, which is a great achievement to Putin. So Putin knows that, these sanctions have not really, broken my back. I don't say they are hunky-dory, they are doing great. But yes, have you broken the back of Russia? No, you could not. Have all your weapons broken the back of Russia? No, that could not. So Putin knows also the advantage. But Putin also knows that he cannot continue like this for long, because this is not going to lead him anywhere. Ultimately, you have to come and talk. So is Prime Minister Modi trying to do that, amicable thing between the two, so that two can come talk and say, okay, it's done, the war has to stop. So for the interest of Ukraine, for the interest of Zelensky, for the interest of Putin, And for the interest of the world peace, if this war stops, there is no leader who can stop it except Prime Minister Modi, because if I put Xi Jinping there, if I put Joe Biden there, well, they don't have that aura, they don't have that leverage. Only Modiji has that leverage to stop the war. So after coming to Russia, the one school of thought is he's pressured by America. Second school of thought says, no, he's carrying Putin's message to Zelensky and say, look, buddy, this is what is, ye ho sakta, this is what can be done. Come on, take it or leave it. So that is the one school of thought. So, and it is good for Ukrainian economy, it's good for Russian economy, because Russia becoming a high-income country, let them now get engaged into the war. And Russia is already facing a threat of Islamic terror, which we all know, and Putin is aware of that Islamic terror is brewing into Russia. Russia has already started defaulting of some of the arms supplies even to India. Some deals are, our weaponry is getting delayed. There's some issues happening. Russians are struggling to get small components across the world. Their dependence on China is increasing. And China has started thinking Russia is my chota bhai, which is not the case. So Russians are not happy with it. They're very people who have a lot of national, or this lot of nationalism in them, and they have a lot of aura and stature in them. They don't want to be a second fiddle to China. So that is the first part of it. Now, what happens in US? Now, US will have again two conflicting groups. Now, if this something of peace starts coming, some simmers start coming, immediately Donald Trump will start and say, look, I told you I'm going to do this, and I'm going to win, and I'm winning, and you see how the geopolitics is changing. I could have done this. You know the Trump's usual style. Now, Kamala Harris being endorsed by Barack and Michelle has got some leverage, but how much is that endorsement going to work? Is she a real competitor to Donald Trump? People say she is not, because to Trump and Vance is a strong combination. But in youth of, I think, 20 to 35, she is a lead of 20 points as on date. So that's the advantage she has. But overall, even after Joe Biden is taken out of the picture, there is some race for the presidential post. So if it works for peace, it will be credited to Trump. And then Trump, Modi, Putin, this kind of a trio can emerge. If this kind of a trio emerges, who is the person who is licking his wounds? Democrats and Xi Jinping. Both of them will be licking their wounds. So Americans will also watch it closely. And Donald Liu has said to his bosses in a committee meeting or whatever it was, he said, look, we have expressed our concerns to Indians. We are not very happy with Prime Minister Modi going there, but Prime Minister Modi told this to Putin, and he was very clear on that. We are conveying it with force to India. That is what he told these people. So he's trying to say we are creating enough pressure, and it's a balancing act. So that is the American perspective. Let's talk about China. Now, what are Chinese going to do? China does not want this war to stop, because if this war stops, there are two things which are going to happen. First, Trump does not consider Russia or this communist bloc as his enemies. His number one enemy consideration is People's Republic of China. Stopping this war means America would be ready to squeeze China more, and Trump is almost coming, so Xi Jinping will be worried. And if Xi Jinping is worried, and if the sanctions and all are diluted on Russia or they're gone, then that bonhomie between Xi and Putin is not required. Putin doesn't require Xi, and Xi has shown Putin that, when push comes to shove and there's an opportunity, I am trying to be the bada bhai, I am trying to be the big brother boy, and which Putin doesn't like. So there is already a lot of discomfort between them. There's a lot of distrust between them, but the situations brought them together. The American arrogance brought them together. This thrusted war got them together, which is very, very bad. Second lobby, which will be very unhappy within this clan, will be Islamists. Because Islam is very happy. Christians are killing each other. Every day kill each other. Christians fight, kill each other. They're very, very happy to see this. Oh, wow. We've only seen Muslims killing each other. Now Christians are busy killing each other. So if this thing happens, I'll be personally happy, because at least these Christians can stop killing each other. I don't want them to kill each other, because they're much bigger enemies, including us. Together have to handle much bigger enemies. We know what the enemies are. So that is another part of it. So that is the American side. But does the American deep state, does the Central Military Commission, the central this American military industry and all, do they want this war to stop? They don't want this war to stop. We know every 5 years they need one major conflict for the war to stop, for the war to start. But you will ask me, where will the conflict come from? How will they agree? How will you kind of get away with their influence and their pressure and their cloud? Sir, when this war stops, we are talking of two new wars. Because look, if this war somehow halts or stops or goes to peace, American war machinery will be available. Now they can easily go and do what they want to do vis-a-vis China. And then you can do whatever you want to do in Middle East. So China will not be happy, because if this war stops, the pressure on the South China Sea will increase, and Iran will not be happy, because then the Israeli pressure on Hezbollah will automatically start. Because, push comes to shove, when Americans may say whatever they want to say today, say, we don't want to support Israel, we will stop this arms, we'll stop this ammunition. We all know Jewish lobby controls everything in America, and there is no way, let it be Republicans or Democrats, they cannot say no to Jews. They cannot say no to Israel. We have seen with the Benjamin Netanyahu's visit, especially elect Elon Musk, when he was asked, whose guest are you? He said, Netanyahu's. So that was a big slur on a lot of Democrats, which obviously they don't like. And Trump has this Jewish lineage to his son-in-law, or maybe somebody in the clan. So Trump is seen quite sympathetic to Israel. So imagine Trump coming, this war stopping. The whole of American war industry needs a war. Okay, Israel will give you that war, but you need to survive. There will be a war in Israel. And eventually, if you're done with the war with Israel, then you will have a war with China somewhere down the sea, the Strait of Taiwan, today, tomorrow, whenever. The challenge here is Benjamin Netanyahu is looking for the right time, and what he did, this operation over stretched arms, when he bombed Yemen, 1800 kilometers, he went gone there, 2 times refueling in the air, no AWAC, no radar of the world saw them, and they destroyed the harbor of Yemen. They came back. Well, that didn't happen by fluke. So Israelis give a very clear message: we'll attack you wherever you are, doesn't matter what is the distance. This was the biggest ever long distance operation handled by Israel. So it's even a message to Pakistan, it's even a message to Iran. In my opinion, they are preparing for an attack on Iran. A lot of people believe, oh, there was a drone attack in Tel Aviv, then they attacked in retaliation. I say to them, look, buddies, don't be tomfoolery has no limits. You can't have a drone attack today, and then day after tomorrow, I send my planes 1800 miles out of my airspace, and they attack a harbor and they come back. This doesn't happen in 2 days. This takes months of preparation. Idea is to hit Iran. They will hit Iran because US intelligence believes, Iranis are saying, Israelis are saying, they are 2 weeks away from getting that critical mass to make the nuclear war. Now you will tell me, oh, the Iranian new prime minister is very nice. He's talking nice things. He's a doctor. Ayman al-Zawahiri was also a doctor. Don't get fooled by doctor. You're telling me, oh, Ahmadinejad is talking different things. You have to worry. That is classical al-taqiyya. When you are sworn in enemies, when your known enemies especially become close to you, what your buddies want to become your friends, that is al-taqiyya in working. So I don't think Jews are befooled by these. Jews understand al-taqiyya the best. They know they are only trying this to deceive. Treachery is what is in their mind. So if Israel wants to take on Hezbollah, today, tomorrow it has to take Iran. Iran wants to give an impression, bhai, hum to sudhar gaye. We have changed. Our heart has changed. Our mind has changed. Nothing has changed. As long as Khamenei lives, nothing changes in Iran. Now, if Israel attacks Hezbollah, it's a matter of time Iran will get attacked. Or is Israel planning to take out their nuclear installations or ports well in advance, which Iran can very well do. I think Operation Stretched Arms, exactly the distance they covered is the distance they need to destroy Iran. Is exactly the same distance. So is it a message? Is it what a preparation? In my opinion, it was a preparation. If Israel does this, Iranis will retaliate. They have no option but to retaliate. And if Iran retaliates on Israel, Americans, whoever is the president, you will have no other option but to help Israel. There is no other option American can run away. So for that things to happen, you have to close the Ukraine chapter. You have to close the Ukraine chapter so that you can work here. When you will work here, what is going to happen is, if you get Putin on your side, Putin has started controlling North Korea. The China's pitbull, the China's pitbull, North Korea is now undertaking the instructions from Putin. So China has had this bluff card. I'll activate this Kim. Kim is not taking orders from Xi. So take out the North Korean angle. You handle Putin, you get North Korea on your side. North Korea will not be your problem. You have to handle Iran today, tomorrow, directly, indirectly. America has to fight Iran, and ultimately Iran as a country will get decimated. Halfly, partially, fully, it's a matter of time, only God knows, because Iran will not stop. And Israel cannot let Iran live, because Israel knows if Iran lives, one day, if they acquire the bomb, the whole balance of power in the Middle East is gone. Today, Israel is a numero uno because they have the nuclear weapons. If somebody else has the nuclear weapons, then it will not stop. Because if Iranis get it, some of Saudis will want it. And remember, 𝗼𝗍𝘃 went to Pakistan to get a nuclear weapon, which is MPs told and some ministers blubbered that we have almost done a deal with the Pakistan. We've got the blueprint of the designs. Then unfortunately, 𝗣𝗍𝘂𝗍𝘆 and his foreign minister got unfortunately killed in a so-called helicopter accident. Accidents happen in helicopters. Well, not very often. But anyway, that's none of my business. Things happen, sir. Kya kare? Dunya hai, hota hai. Sab Mahakal ki ichha hai. So he got killed. Now, Iran will be also watching this closely because they know if this chapter stops, Iran's chapter is on the line. Now, if Iran and China will start talking together, how can we do to scuttle the world peace? Do we have a new virus? Do we have a new bioweapon? Can we bombard America with fentanyl? Can we bombard America with crystal meth? What can we do? So when this all is talked about, the ultimate jihadi of the world, the epicenter of jihad, the epicenter of all shitheads, all madrasa chaps, that is Pakistan, will be in the game. Now, what are Americans giving them? Donald Liu is trying to give them $100 million, which is small change for them. So Pakistan wants $1 billion, 10 billion, 5 billion. But Pakistan also knows one thing very clearly. Last time Munir tried to sell a weapon to Qatar. I will be direct today. He tried to sell a weapon to Qatar and Iran. Dera Ghazi Khan got evaporated. His enrichment facilities all gone. Then Munir again tried a stunt. He tried to cut a deal with 𝗣𝗍𝘂𝗍𝘆. 𝗣𝗍𝘂 and his foreign minister got eliminated. I'm telling you today, take it as my prediction. If Munir tries his luck third time, Munir and Anjum, both's lifelines will be shortened that day. They will both be eliminated. I don't know who's going to do it. And whoever does it, he will do the right thing. They will be, because next in line is these three. So now what is in China's ambit? Will China activate our Indian side? And in Indian side, take it my word today, sir. It won't be Ladakh. It won't be Jammu. If something will be activated, it will be most probably Himachal. Second is Uttaranchal, not even Arunachal. No Ladakh, no Arunachal, nothing from this Bhutani side. You will have problem most probably coming from Himachal. Second will be Uttaranchal. This is where China will act. Uttaranchal border we have quite fortified. I'm not sure what is happening on the Himachal side. And Himachal is a Congress government now. So there are some challenges there. So this is something which we have to worry about. So Iran will be also watching this visit carefully. Even Iran and China will want this conflict to continue, because if the conflict continues, they both benefit. Pakistan would want to make money. How can I make money out of this conflict? And whose side I'm going to be? If I look at our one more neighbor, Bangladesh is also watching this carefully. So will India be the eventual casualty, or will India emerge victorious? Imagine Prime Minister Modi is able to stop this war. The biggest ever turn of event of this century will be who stopped this war. And it will go on the, he will cast his name on the sands of time till eternity. A lot of people within the Congress and within the, NT establishment will not like it. So if you talk of these communists, if you talk of these people who believe in Mao, we call Maowadi, and we believe in Karl Marx and Lenin, all of them are not going to like it. But Russia wants this war to stop. They will live with it. But there will be a group who do not want Prime Minister Modi to stop this war. So Pakistan will also look at his options. Now, when push comes to shove, what will happen is China can push Pakistan to the brim. Do something. Go and do something. And what we are seeing, the attacks in Jammu, what we are seeing today, it's a very, very clear, hand of China, and it's a very, very clear hand of Pakistan. That is what we have been seeing from the very beginning. Sree sir, you remember now Indian media started talking of SSG commandos and bad teams. We on PGurus channel told you 2 months back. 2 months back, it is 45 people, groups of 3. They're ex-SSG commandos, ex-marine, current working or ex-SSG commandos, or at least the person who is leading them is a SSG commando. These are not hard. These are not typical jihadis who are infiltrated. So this was a prediction long back. So this has come true. Now, and even if you look at smaller countries, if you look at Thailand, if you look at for Indonesia, if you look at Solomon Islands and all, they'll be also seeing, why? Because they will now ascertain where will the power balance twist. Imagine a world in which there's Prime Minister Modi, who is the center figure. You have a Trump on one side, who's quite friendly to Modi. You have Putin on the other side, who's again quite friendly to Modi, right? These 3 guys are together, and you have Benjamin Netanyahu. He's also quite friendly to the clan. He's quite friendly to the clan. If these 4 people get together, right? Unfortunately, Macron has become ineffective, because after he tied with this leftist, and you see what is happening in France, it's a free for all. And let people not forget one thing, which is the country Prime Minister Modi has visited maximum number of times. People will say Russia, some will say something. If you don't do a Google, I'll tell you. If somebody can put a comment right now, which is the country Prime Minister Modi has visited maximum number of times in his tenure? Quick, I'm waiting for your responses. Easy one. That talks a lot of things. And China, Iran, and Pakistan won't let that happen. They're very, very. Now, even our neighbors, depending on how the equation shapes, Bangladesh will revisit their policy, looking at who's emerging victorious. Any comments, guys? Come on, don't Google. Just go by hunch. Google ki zarurat nahi hai, bhai. Go by hunch. So, Prime Minister Modi, USA, United States of America. So United States, no, not France, sir. United States of America, let's not forget it. No Italy, sir. United States of America. No France. That's why I asked this question. I know a lot of people will think it's Russia, it's France. It's no. United States of America. He has visited maximum number of times. I mean, give it to Prime Minister Modi. He knows where is the bang for the buck, what they say in American. Italy. Nahi Rao sahab. United States of America. So it's just to. So America remains central to India's foreign policy. If these four people could get together, and you have, we don't know which way the France is going. Honestly, I'm worried about France. But in Italy, you have Giorgia Meloni, and we have a very strong crackdown on Muslims and this Muslim Islamists in Germany, in Hamburg. That so-called Islamic center, which was funded by Iran and which had relations with Hezbollah, is brought down by the Germans. So, there are a lot of things happen. So when these things happen, and imagine a world, sir, where Iran is taken out. Iran cannot make nuclear weapons. The power politics of Middle East is completely going to change. The power politics of North Africa is going to change. People will reevaluate their relations with China, and China will look like a monkey of the circus. You remember he tried to shake hands that 4 foot ka vengi between the Irans and Saudis. Thinking he understands Islam, he understands Middle East. I would want to quote the foreign minister of Dubai, who once said, if you think you understand Islam, you understand Middle East. No, he wanted to make up.
No, just wanted to observe that Ukraine has done one thing which will make it difficult to stop this war, which is that, the big multinational corporations have actually taken ownership of the fertile land of Ukraine in exchange for giving them weapons. So now what's going to happen is they might have their own militias come in to defend their land. So you're not, this has gotten way too complicated. Now it's becoming private militias, this and that. So if Russia tries if they try to come beyond those two states, the Donbass region, beyond, see, what Russia wants is they want to be able to control the Odessa also. Odessa, if they can control that, then they can cut off Ukraine from having a good seaport. And Ukraine will not allow Odessa to be lost. So there is this problem. And to get to Odessa, they need to go through some of these areas. So it's not going to be so easy. So at the end of the day, it depends upon who has more pain. In my opinion, I think it is Ukraine that has more pain, because if there is a regime change in November and Trump says, look, no more money.
No paisa nahi hai, bhai.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Yeah.
What are you going to do? You can't have American taxpayers' money being sent for, killing people in Russia and Ukraine. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Christians. Why are they killing? They are funding their genocide. They should realize how Islamic world is getting together and how Islamic world is trying to screw everybody's happiness. And here you are busy killing each other. I have been shouting my lungs. I'm not a Christian. Oh, I love my Christian friends. I'm even okay with my Muslim friends. But, the problem here is, you understand, when it's the Islamic world, they're very coordinated. They are very coordinated. But here, these idiots, sorry to use that word, are busy killing each other. So this has to stop. So now with this new world order, sir, now Africa will be also watching it very carefully. They will see where the balance is. Because look, India is the strongest players in Africa. China is trying to compete, and Americans are riding on the back of India to enter Africa. That's a very, very important thing. So if this comes here, India will become an epicenter of a lot of economic activity after that, right? Bharat, Israel, Russia, BIR. This is the new order supported in Neeta Ambani and others. 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘆 spread. Now, this is the new world order which will face, and if we are able to do this, there'll be a less impact on the economies, because if we have South China Sea flare up, and now imagine this happens, Iran is settled. Do you think China will ever dare to try to capture Taiwan? China will not dare to capture Taiwan. China knows that it's imminent disaster. So that might leave Taiwan happy, because in all this fiasco, Taiwan will feel more secure, because if these two theater commands, not practically, tactically, I'm speaking, pun intended, if this Russia, Ukraine, and Israel and Iran get settled, then South China Sea will be the hotbed. And in that perspective, Xi Jinping will not dare to play his tricks with Taiwan. So if tricks with China and Taiwan are not played, the semiconductor industry of the world will be intact, the things of the world will be intact. But in that case, will Chinese try to use Pakistan to ferment trouble in India? It's a possibility. Will they open fronts from Himachal and Uttaranchal? It's a possibility. Will they unleash another virus? Because remember, there's a biologist in Hong Kong. 2 or 3 days back, I am reading his article. He's saying there's a new deadly pandemic which can hit the world much earlier than you anticipated. So are these, I don't know what to say them, are these BFMs, breeding another virus? I don't know. Because when push comes to shove, they can go to any level and breed anything. And what will be the position of Saudi Arabia? Because Saudis know if Iran is gone, they are the numero Muslim power in Middle East, and eventually whoever controls the Iranian land will control Iranian oil. So it's good news for Saudis. It's good news for UAE. It's good news for. Now, if you look at another rogue country, Turkey, Khalifa will not know what to do. He will not know where to go, and he will be just hanging it between. Lebanon will go from bad to worse. Today we have around 70% people in poverty. It will be 90% people in poverty. The inflation will go skyrocketing in. So overall, if you look at the where the brunt will be in Middle East and Europe. Ultimately, Middle East and Europe is going to face the maximum brunt of it. So there will be people who will not want the fire to come to their regions. They want fire to be on the region. So it's a very complex things. Now we will know what are the statements which Modiji will give. We'll know what is the outcome of that visit, and we will also know what kind of semantics and optics we see. Like last time he went to Russia, he got the highest Russian honor. Let's say he goes to Ukraine and he gets something like that. So it's a different semantics and optics. Now, if the kind of welcome he gets, the kind of joint statements we get, will we have a joint statement issued? Will we have a kind of a MOU or something like that signed? All things will matter. So Prime Minister Modi's visit to Ukraine, the outcome of that visit, that will determine a lot of things. And the world needs a change in status quo. And I think if this happens, I think minus France and maybe Yemen, maybe Iran, Houthis, and Syria, I think moreover everybody will be happy. And if you're Putin on your side, you can control Bashar. Bashar will be like a nice little boy sitting with his finger on the lips. Muh nahi kholega wo. So only Houthis are then a problem. You have to deal with them. And of course, Iran is the biggest problem. You have to deal with them. And Iraq, whatever problems America is having in Iraq, they will immediately die down. Khalifa will be told, fall in line or we'll get you out of the game, because the world order is changing. So eventually, the problematic countries will be Iran, you will have Yemen, and you will have Pakistan. But if Pakistan, you can give the money, you will settle Pakistan also. So there will be two countries remaining, Iran and Yemen. That is where it looks like. But depending on the outcome, sir, as and how and what kind and type of outcome comes, that will set in motion all other things. It's like it's like that engine. One part moves, another will move another. If this moves, if the torque is this much, this is the speed you will get. If the torque is, you have a V4 engine, you have a V3 engine, or you have a V6 engine, you have a V8 engine. You have a V8 engine, the torque is much higher. The speeds can be reached much faster. So this will all depend how do the things set in a pace. So I see it's a very important geopolitical event. But I want to put one word of caution in the end. Though there will be arrangements done with Russians and others, this will be a bit risky visit as well, because Sir, there is a hypothesis that last time when a Malaysian plane was shot over Ukraine, right? A lot of people believe the target was Modi's plane, and it by mistake these bastards, I want to say these bastards, brought down the another plane. The target was Modi's plane. Modiji ka plane target tha. Let's not befool ourselves. There was something went wrong. They brought down the other plane. With this war and fiasco going on, it is a bit of a risky visit in my opinion. I think should Prime Minister Modi go to Ukraine, you can argue Joe Biden has went there, Rishi Sunak has went there. I'm not fearing Russians. I'm not fearing any of those organized countries and all. I'm not even fearing Ukrainians, or I am fearing lot of these illegitimate children of Iran who operate everywhere in the world, and a lot of these gangs, or what of these warlords, and they are heavily armed, and we cannot not see an option wherein China might use somebody to scuttle this whole process. So in my opinion, it's a very, very risky trip. I'm very sure the government of India, Ajit Dovalji, and all the requisite safeguards are in place. I hope and pray it concludes peacefully and happily. But as you rightly say, if there's no pain, there is no gain. If I am there, I'll ask Zelensky to come to maybe a UK. I'll ask him to, buddy, come to UK. Let's sit in UK or talk, or come to Singapore, or come to, you can even talk there rather than landing your plane there. Get Zelensky to come to a, let's say, United Kingdom, or somewhere, or get him to come to United States of wherever, a neutral country, maybe a Singapore kind of a thing, where this discussion can happen. But because what I'm fearing, sir, is what can China do to scuttle the whole process? They will run through the whole chart. They will find the weakest link. There is a risk there. I'm seeing a risk. I hope and pray my apprehensions are all wrong. What I think is all figment of my imagination, but there is a risk. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Sumitji. And viewers, a small request to all of you. The notifications is still touch and go. Today was okay. I wouldn't say too bad. But there have been instances where Sumitji's crowd is, a fraction of what it normally is. So what we tried to do was to create our own notification ecosystem by encouraging you to join a channel called as PGurus under WhatsApp channel. The link for that is at the top of the comment, and it's also inside the description, and you can go and pick it up, click on that, become a member of our channel. And once you become a member of our channel, then you need to click on the update. You see the thing circled and grayed. Click on that, then you will get into this screen. Next one, please. This is the PGurus channel screen, where every video that we put out, every story we put out, it comes here. So there you have the access to it. Now, this is a manual process. If you want to automate it, when you become a member of the channel, the notifications are muted, which is what you see, the bell with a cross on it. You need to go and click on that top right corner. Click on that to unmute it. Then after that, you will get notifications just like you are getting YouTube notifications. That's the whole idea, to make it as seamless as possible. Just do this one thing for us so that you know when the video airs. Thank you very much. Now let's take a few questions.
Sure.
Jayanti Keshav wants to know, happy birthday, namaskar. Thank you so much for everybody who was wished
happy birthday, sir. I didn't know. Thank you, my brother, for reminding us. Happy birthday, Sri sir. Wish you a very happy, long and a prosperous life. और हिंदी में बोलूंगा, आप जिए हजारों साल और आप हमारा मार्गदर्शन ऐसे करते रहे. Thank you.
Dhanyosmi. Let's go to the next question, please. Maithili wants to know, what could be the agenda? Any guesses? I think they're trying to bring an end to this war. That's what I think. Sir, aap boliye.
I missed the first part of the question, sir.
No, the agenda, meeting with Modi and...
I mean, we have discussed all the possibilities. You know, the West media says it's the American pressure. But my calculation and when I look at, because everybody will want to give his side of the story. When I look at everything, it is a lot of things which are on the table. A lot of geopolitical developments will depend on the outcome of this meeting, ma'am.
Next one, please. Maithili wants to know if he is going to do a balancing act. If this happens, he needs to be bestowed with the Nobel Peace Prize.
It's not only about Nobel Peace Prize, ma'am. I mean, when you are a Prime Minister Modi, a Nobel Peace Prize doesn't matter to you, honestly. Look, if this happens, who are the two countries which are very rattled? The most rattled country will be China. And if these issues are settled, China will not want this to happen, because the pressure will come on South China Sea. China under pressure is better than China not under pressure. So, it's even in the longer interest of India that, this war stops, because there's a lot of fuel, food, and there's a lot of weapons dependency we have on Russia. And unfortunately, a lot of things are getting delayed because of this ongoing war. This war doesn't even help India in any way. We're not happy with this war.
Next one, please. Sendbagamuttu Rahul, thank you so much. Will Starlink be given license in India to provide services? Should government be concerned, as terrorists could use this tech for communication purposes?
You see, Rahul ji, the issue is, even if you don't give a license to Starlink, there's another company called 𝗤𝗏 DSL. I think they're still operational and functional. They might have more come in. Now, when you have a Chinese Ultrasat, which is already hooked to a Chinese satellite or a Chinese, or a 𝗤𝗏 or somebody. So where is the question of giving license or not giving license? These terrorists will not use your equipment. They will already use the equipment given by hostile countries which are already connected to somebody, right? So it's you might have to restrict these licenses to some areas, and you might have to deny the license for some areas. That is the way out.
Next one, please. Hrithik Great wants to know, Sumitji, why NATO failed to assess Russian military strength?
NATO did not fail completely. NATO thought that after the sanctions, Russians will not be able to pull so long and will have a cakewalk. Because look, for the American military industry to survive, in every 5 years, we need one major conflict. Otherwise, how will they survive? So it's also the conflicts are created. So, that's why I, in my monologue, said that the question will be, if this war stops, how will they survive? You have this Israel, Hezbollah, Israel, Iran, then you have this, then you have things in the South China Sea. So there'll be enough things which will keep the industry running. So you have to also look at the industry. Kya kare?
Rahul Basu wants to know, today again in Kupwara, 5 of our Jawans got badly injured. When will this stop?
This will only stop, sir, when we are able to burn down Sialkot, have people killed, have people eliminated of Pakistan Army in Punjab, and we take the NT up to Rawalpindi. I have been warning on this. I have been very directly talking on YouTube, on TV, and I have spoken about this around 2 months back. When I got this information from some sources, this is how it looks like this time. Now everybody is saying that, what I have been saying, but again, if you want to stop, you have to take the casualties to Pakistan Army. And secondly, you have to be ruthless to these so-called overground workers. Overground worker is a terrorist by all means and any means. There's nothing called an overground worker.
Next one, please. Nanambikai Ratnasabhapati wants to know, Keshav Prasad Maurya's open actions against Yogi ji in UP has somewhat proved that it was indeed an internal sabotage which derailed the BJP in the UP Lok Sabha elections. Your thoughts?
I think I have been quite vocal on this. I have been telling you we had some issues which were internal, and entirely if you look at UP, and if you look at some other states, it is not only this. It is Muslims voting in a pattern to defeat BJP, and let me tell you, the numbers are out. In 2014, Sri sir, you will be surprised to know, BJP got 9% of the Muslim vote. 14 with Modi's "Kutte ka bachcha," all those comments and all that. We have seen. And you know how much they got in 224? 8. So 10% short in BJP votes what they polled even from 2014. It's after giving everything. So this realization has to come somewhere. And if this realization doesn't come, then things won't work. Now you see MP, you swept MP. How? You had 52, 53, 54% vote share. You swept MP. You swept some states where you had the vote share maintained. So some people should know who are ultimately going to vote for you, who are not going to vote for you. And Keshav Prasad Maurya and all, people are ambitious in politics. But I would only say there is nothing about Desh and party. So if Desh remains, party remains, you will get whatever you do. And even if you are a deputy CM, I think it's good enough. Everybody can't be the CM.
Next one, please. NN wants to know, sir, Modiji has 4 months to stop the war, else Trump would anyway stop it if he becomes POTUS. Thoughts?
I think, don't you think, NNG, that these people are coordinating and they are doing somewhat a way wherein, because look, this war has to stop now. We don't have 4 months. It's a matter of time. It will start with Israel, Hezbollah. Ultimately, Iran will get involved, and Iran gets involved, and it will hit Israel. Unfortunately, we'll have a lot of casualties. Americans will have no option but to get involved. So, do you have 4 months for that? In my opinion, we don't have 4 months for that. We do not have 4 months for that.
Hitesh Sharma wants to know, sir, if in case Modiji manages to resolve this Ukraine conflict, will it have impact on internal politics here in Bharat?
It will have some kind of an impact, not a full impact, because at least your economy, your oil prices, your stock exchanges and all, they'll be a bit stabler. But ultimately, internal politics and external politics are totally different. That's why you have Amit Shah ji as Greh Mantri and Dr. Jaishankar Sahab as Videsh Mantri. Otherwise, you could have one person running the both. They're two different things. It has some impact on the economy, but your internal politics, like we were just discussing, Keshav Prasad Maurya ji versus Yogi ji and all. So these things have to be managed. How will this war and this not going to kind of impact? Yes, Modiji's stature will be elevated. His leadership qualities will be appreciated and elevated. But does this change the internal dynamics of a Maharashtra elections? No.
Vijay Kumar Srivastava wants to know, sir, if Modi's visit to Ukraine comes to a ceasefire, is it possible to talk? Should Modi's visit to Ukraine be useful if peace is restored?
Well, if peace is restored, it's good for India, it's good for the world. We honestly want Russians and Ukrainians to stop fighting and killing each other, because we have to prepare for two wars. Iran, Hezbollah, and Israel, Hezbollah, and Israel, Iran, which is part 2, part A, and part B. And third is, there will be one day a flare-up between India and China. There will be a flare-up between India and Taiwan someday on the Straits of Taiwan. That is a matter of time. And again, I'm telling you, it might come from Himachal, or most probably, not second possibility is Uttaranchal. It won't be Arunachal, it won't be Ladakh. It won't be any of these regions. It will be a different angle this time they will try.
Next question, please. Oak Santosh wants to know, will Modiji be safe enough in Ukraine?
I hope so, because Rishi Sunak, Joe Biden, they've all landed there. Because I'm not worried about Ukrainians or Russians, and Russians are our friends. But there are a lot of these rogue elements which work on behest for money, and you have to bank in China. You have to bank in Iran. China and Iran are the only two people who will not be benefited if this war stops, who will not want this war to stop.
Next one, please. NN wants to know, sir, was it right of Netanyahu to meet Trump as he's still in opposition?
Why not? Trump has been a sympathizer of Israel.
Kamala Harris, who's not president.
नहीं, और वो sympathizer है. He's a sympathizer of Israeli people. He's a sympathizer of Jews. He has done a lot of things for them, and it's to send a message. Anyway, what looks today, Trump is going to make it. I don't know what will be the outcome. In all possibility, Trump is going to make it. Kamala Bhanji is trying hard, but ultimately, where it will go. But I like her in a way. She is on Monday, she's an Indian. Tuesday, she's African. On Wednesday, she's American. And Thursday, she becomes something hybrid. And Friday, she has some weird videos which go with the internet about, like Rahul Gandhi was about women empowerment. She talks something which is, again, I can't remember those words, but when I looked at the video, I was,
Next one, please. Manav-san wants to know, India seeks benefits of multipolar world. How does multipolar world impact Pakistan and even China? How will Houthi attacks on shipping be resolved? Will Russia rest it around if Iran is attacked?
Look, Russia has to realize its own interest. Russia has buried a lot of people and has lost a lot of money. Look, when you bury, you are dead. There's a lot of load on your soul. Putin has a lot of load on his soul. Let's not forget that. So, multipolar world is good for India. Multipolar code is good for Russia, because Russia says, this is my area of influence. Isme mat aao. Don't come into this area. Let it be my area of influence. The entire world is yours. Houthis have to be eliminated. They have to be eliminated by force. You have to bomb them to death. Otherwise, you will not be able to control them. And Iran, if there is an informal truce with Americans and Indians and Israelis and all, Iran doesn't matter in bigger scale of things. Yes, China is the odd man out. And as long as Xi Jinping is the president of China, don't expect anything to change there. Things can go from bad to worse.
Next one, please. Alpha Max, thank you so much. This clearly is a balancing act by Government of India to woo Americans, especially State Department and Democrats. India wants weapons technology and Indo-Pacific cooperation. Your thoughts?
This is how you look at it from a Western perspective. So, my friend, will only come to know when looking at the joint statements, looking at the semantics, optics, whatever is the outcome of the visit, that will tell you, is it as a balancing act? Is it really what I'm thinking? Because my perspective is the second part which I told you. I told you this is what the Western media seems to be talking about, but my perspective is this, because there's a lot of connected dots to it. It's not a standalone event. Balancing act could have been, once you go to Russia, then you stop for Ukraine for a day and come back. That will be a typical balancing act. Now, especially going to Ukraine, do you think Prime Minister Modi has nothing to do? Khali hai, let me go to Ukraine. And he's taking a high-risk visit to Ukraine. It's a risky visit, let me tell you. So there has to be something bigger on the table than a balancing act.
Next question, please. Muthukumar Sundaram wants to know, has background preparations been done for Ukraine visit?
Sir, any visit of the Prime Minister doesn't happen without the background preparations done. That is a part of the SOP. All these people will be burning the midnight oil and trying to get all these done. And understand, Zelensky needs what we call in war a hero's death. He needs a hero's exit. You have to stage manage a hero's exit. He cannot exit as a hero, but give him that. It's like that Xi Jinping visiting a Wuhan hospital with a surgical mask and shaking hands with COVID patients. That was a set which was created. So, just to show Xi as a hero. So likewise, you have to give him this exit. So this.
Thank you so much, Sumitji. I'm seeing a lot of hate mail here, and I think that means we are doing something right. That's all I can say, Sumitji. Your
Sir, jab gali tabi padti na, you're talking the truth. Because if you want, it's a balancing act, then there is nothing. Because when we connect all the dots, we almost cover everybody. And a lot of people, when we say the truth, mirch dalti hai, where. When the mirch dalti hai in the wrong place, people start jumping. So this is where the problem is. I can't help them, but I have to tell the truth. Look, for me, nothing is more important than my country, my interests, my Prime Minister, and the world peace. We want those things to happen. We don't believe in life after death. We believe in life other than this. And we want our Christian brothers to stop killing each other. I'm stressing again, please stop killing each other. This war is completely unrequired. And in fact, all the wars should be avoided in the world. But if a country like Pakistan, who believes in that, will do a 𝗣𝙬𝙖 𝗢𝙬 and have their flag on Red Fort, we have to send them to their graves with this dream in their eyes, and as soon as possible. That I'm completely in favor of. But we don't want to go and buy wars. We don't want to buy wars. Long live Israel. Yes, long live Israel. We are with Israel. We will be with Israel. We will always be with Israel. Because Israel is the only democracy in whole of Middle East. Matra ek democracy hai bhai. Only one democracy. And these people even want to destroy that. In that whole of that, continent or whatever you want to say, one goddamn living and breathing democracy. And these people are eyeing it. Finish them. And let me tell you, sir, Jews have a right to live. You like them, you hate them. That's up to you, but they have a right to live. And nobody can deny it from them.
Thank you so much, Sumitji. And tomorrow he'll be back on to talk about China. Sumitji, let's take the Ashirwad of Mahadev before we call this program a wrap. Namaskar.
Sure. So our brothers and sisters, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we'll be talking at China, some sensational revelations to make. And such, our China shows always are good and people look for it and watch for it. And especially our enemies of India, especially watch the show because they want to know how China's secrets are coming out. But that is our job. That is the national service we do. And it is in the interest of India. It's in the interest of America and the whole world to let know how China is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and the end game is getting nearer and nearer and nearer. Tomorrow 10 o'clock, कल 10 बजे मिलेंगे आपसे एंड गेम चाइना सीरीज पे. On that note, भारत माता की जय, वंदे मातरम एंड हर 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 महादेव.
Mahadev.